Aleksander Skałka. He is a marketing automation strategy director at SALESmanago. This company engages in AI-based customer data collection. So this is the man who knows how to know your customers better. He advises international companies on that. And today he will share how to convince customers to give away voluntarily their data and how to efficiently then use it. So, Aleksander, please, the time is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's pleasure talking to you now. So, as I will maybe start from being a little bit more down to earth with my presentation. I will try to be less abstract. I will be presenting to you some use cases and tools that actually are used on the daily basis by many different companies. When it comes to using software such as the company that I'm representing, that's something that is usually used by mid-size e-commerce companies. Not only e-commerce, but also finance sector uses it, insurance sector. And the key challenge here to be able to personalize the communication to the customer is to first collect data from the customer. So I'll be talking today about some trends on how to collect data, what's the response of the MarTech markets when it comes to the tools that you can use for that. I will provide some use cases and show some tools that you can use to collect customer data. So first of all, I'll be very briefly about the trends. One of the main trends that is happening now that you can see on a daily basis is the growing data privacy awareness. People are concerned about the privacy of their data. People don't have control over data. What other companies know about them, what kind of information that are shared in the internet. So because of that, they are less willing to share their personal details. On the other hand, there's an expectation from customers that their buying process will be personalized. People tend to choose companies that offer more user-friendly interfaces that are helping them to find products relevant to them, they know how to use those interfaces. And they are just, even if it's at the cost of the higher price, they will even choose companies that have more user-friendly stores or applications. And the last trend that I would like to mention, which is of course not all, but the most relevant to my presentation, is the fact that the sales process is omnichannel, which means that people are switching between different devices. It's not so easy now to track the activity of a single customer, as they can use many different devices, mobile, desktop, many different browsers. They can buy offline, online. So having the possibility of having all the data in one place is very important to the business. So how do we track the customer data? So there are three types of, actually more, but from the perspective of my presentation again, there are three types of data that help us to target different audiences, different groups of customers. Third-party data that will actually be soon phased out by Google and is already phased out by Apple, which is the possibility to track activities of customers across different sites. Something that is already well known is first-party data. That is a possibility that when the customer is entering the page and they are allowing cookies, the company is able to personalize its communication for that customer based on the activity of that customer related to the offer of that company. So when the customer leaves the page, the company loses the possibility to track the activities of the customer outside of their page. And the zero-party data is actually the data that the customer is willingly sharing with us, providing some details about their preferences, interests, that is totally unrelated with cookies, something that can be shared even for people who are not allowing to be tracked. So what's the response of the market, of the new technologies available on the market, our customer data platform system. That's actually the kind of software that the company can use to integrate all the data about their customers in one place, integrating data from the e-commerce platform, from the CRM system, from points of sales, from a call center, from mobile app. So any kind of application that you are using for storing customer data is integrated in real time with customer data platform. And the goal of having this single view of the customer, 360-degree view of the customer, is to provide the marketer with the single source of truth about your customers, and use this information for personalizing communication in all possible communication channel, regardless if it's email, if it's a website, if it's social media, if it's a text message, any kind of communication channel you are using can have consistent messaging for the same customer based on the personalization algorithms that you will use. The purpose of that is to improve the customer experience, to help the customers find easier the information in the offer that are relevant to them, to do one-to-one product recommendations, to predict what the customer might be interested in and show this information at relevant time. So to be able to effectively collect customer data, there are a couple of things that you need to do. First is start tracking first-party data. That's something that is not done by all companies. There are some companies that are only starting to do that, but whenever you have any touch points that the customer can interact with your offer, you should be collecting their data. You should be tracking their activities. You should also you should also give the customer the choice of sharing some data with you. So that's the point about collecting zero-party data. You need to have a place where you're collecting all of this information, and you should have the possibility of executing all the activities and all the processes with highly personalized possibilities of delivering tailored offer to every customer in your database. So one of the tools that is very useful for that is as one of the tools in the customer data platform is a single customer view, or 360 customer profile. That's actually a place where you integrate all the relevant information about the customer. So personal details, website activities, mobile app activities, transactions of the customers, also offline activities. So you have everything in one place. Then you have the possibility of tracking in real time the activity of the customer on the website. So you can tell from what source the customer entered your website, which products they are browsing, how much time they spend, which are the most relevant product categories for them. And this information can be used in personalizing the content of the website in real time as well. Something that is very important from the perspective of building product recommendations is not only to understand which products the customer has viewed, because that's something that is quite obvious, and we can tell it from the tracking of the URLs that the customers are viewing on the page, but also how deep is the interaction with the customer with each product. So you might have products that the customer just scrolled through or just viewed them and left, but also you might have some products that the customers are deeply analyzing. They are checking the available sizes, they are zooming images, they are reading the reviews of these products. So each of this interaction increases the scoring of this product. So whenever you'll be building some product recommendations, tailoring the offer for the customer in real time at the level of the website or in email, you can first present products that will be relevant to that customer the most. Then something that is also very interesting is the possibility of this is some kind of zero-party data already, because customers, when they are browsing the page, they can mark which products are their favorites. So they don't need to log in even with these tools. They can only visit the product page. They can just mark the item as favorites or add them to the wish lists. And anytime they will get back to the page, they can just open a simple widget on the page with the list of their favorite products. So the customer have the possibility of storing information about their the best offers for them, and they can easily access the current information about these products whenever they get back to the page. So if we have the possibility of tracking those customers, you still have the possibility, if the customer is doing this now or in 2 weeks, for example, they can read the list of the favorite products to see what are the current prices, if something has changed, if the products are back in stock, and other details. So it just speeds up again for them the buying process. The next thing that's how you can utilize the customer data is first-party and zero-party data is the personalized pop-ups. So something that work very well to collect data, but all of you know for sure different pop-ups that are frustrating you whenever you enter the page. But you can do it in a smarter way. So, for example, instead of presenting a general newsletter subscription pop-up to that entitled the customer for 15% of the discount for the next purchase for subscribing a newsletter, you can first, before presenting this pop-up, analyze which products the customer was mostly interested in and present this image of this product inside this pop-up. So we have this personalization telling the customer, hey, there's no 15% discount on any product that you will buy, but if you will subscribe our newsletter now, you will get 15% on the product that you were interested in. And just to give you the information on the effectiveness of such simple campaign, the conversion rate grows by 160%, only if you are able to personalize properly the data. Also, what is important is the possibility to build scenarios in which you define how you would like your website to work, depending on the customer behavior on the page, depending on the fact what kind of pages they browsed earlier. You can modify which pop-ups, which banners, what live chat windows will be, with what content will be presented to the customer, making sure that they will be engaged for the entire duration of their visit, and they will find easier the products they are looking for next time. And the last tool that you can use that is something that is very new, and this is something that will be trending 2022, are customer preference centers. These are the landing pages, so very, very simple pages when customer can enter at any time, and they can tell you directly what kind of interest in your offer they have. So, for example, if they didn't allow the cookie tracking, but they still decide to subscribe to a newsletter to get some special discounts from you. You can send in the newsletter a link to this preference center and ask the customer questions directly. Okay, you are our customer. Tell us what is your age, what are your favorite brands, and what's your shoe size. What size of clothes you are wearing. So the customer can tell us directly. We don't need to track their activities. The customer has total control over the data that they're sharing with us. And that's something that is a response also to the concerns that the customer have about their privacy. As they have the possibility to access this information at any time, they can change also their preferences when it comes to the marketing communication, the frequency of the messages that they're receiving here. So we are just giving the customer back the possibility of controlling what kind of data they are sharing in exchange for getting the better customer experience. And so just a summary of my presentation is that this possibility, using the customer data in the marketing activities, is actually currently the core of the vital point of if you would like to be able to grow your company still. Companies that are doing it properly are growing faster than others. And also something that is found by marketers and customers is the fact that companies are stopping to compete with each other by lowering the prices without end. And they are just competing now with delivering better customer experience, better utilizing the customer data. And that's the point. Yeah. So thank you very much for your attention. Hope if there are some questions, I'm available to answer them also directly after the conference.
Yes. Thank you, Aleksander. Really interesting presentation, a very practical one, especially for our marketing colleagues in the audience. Yeah, I'm sure they got their takeaways from that. You have mentioned that third-party data has been phased out already, and you said that first-party data is something that we will be living with. Do you think that zero-party data is the future of marketing, that any marketing department should prepare themselves for?
Actually, yes, because even though the third-party data is already phased out and will be phased out by Google Chrome, which will give in total 85% of the website of the internet traffic that will let's say block third-party tracking. there are still users that, let's say all Apple users actually, that have by default cookie tracking turned off. So if they are not tell you directly they would like to get some personal, they would like to share their details and get personalized offers, you will not have the possibility of tracking their activities. So that's the only way. Collecting zero-party data from them is the only way of in which you are able to personalize the communication for them later on. And that's not only for Google, for Apple. With Google will be the same. So I think that's the direction in which we are heading for when it comes to again providing the customer the possibility of managing their data and getting better customer experience based on the data that they provide to you.
Okay, thanks. Very clear message for marketers to look around about zero-party data and tools that are available. So thanks once again. Happy to have you on board.